Hi, my name is Ryan, and I would like to take a chance to respond to the "Why Won't God Heal Amputees?" in 10 questions every Christian needs to answer. So I'm going to go through these questions, and I'm going to answer them chronologically. And I'd like to start with the first one. The first one is, why won't God heal amputees? Well, if you Google this, the first thing that comes up is your guys' website. And then the second or third or fourth thing that comes up is a story of a Canadian woman who is a recorded amputee who was healed after her church laid hands on her and prayed for her. Now, the reason that I think that this story is true and not a bluff is because there are a couple comments, if you read down in the comment log, that say, hey, I knew this person was a real person, and this actually did happen. And then a couple of comments say, nice April Fool's joke, blah, blah, blah. But the people who actually knew this person were like, hey, this really happened. So I believe that that helps the credibility of the story, say. So why are there so many starving people, okay? Let's say that that's not due to God's negligence, that's due to sin in the world. And if you want to record sin back, that has to do with sin as a result of man's disobedience to God. That's how starvation and disease and all of those things entered the world, okay? Why does God demand the death of so many innocents, okay? Now you need to understand something. According to the old Mosaic laws, adulterers are not innocent. Disobedient children are not innocent. And so you really messed that question up when you said innocent, because they're not innocent. According to the old Mosaic laws, they're guilty, okay? So that was a poorly worded question on your part. Why does the Bible contain so much anti-scientific nonsense, okay? Like what? Well, you mentioned Noah's Ark, okay? Well, to that I say, they actually found the Ark, and it was the exact measurements that are quoted in the Bible. It was made out of the exact thing that was quoted in the Bible, which is cypress and pitch. And I thought you said that Jonah did not live inside a fish's stomach for 3 days. Well, there is a story, and you can Google it if you want to, about a man who did survive being swallowed by a whale. So I thought that the 2 or 3 examples you used, you can actually falsify because of current day, and that they actually found the ark and they built a monument around it. So your next question was, why is God such a huge proponent of slavery? Now I want to say that the verse you mentioned, Exodus 21:20 through 21, says something like, don't beat your slaves. Okay? It does, and nowhere in the Bible does it actually say that God agrees with slavery. It has more to do with that God is more saying people have slaves. Okay? And nowhere in the Bible does it say that God actually agrees with slavery. Your next question was, why do bad things happen to good people? Okay? Well, I'm going to answer sin, okay? Because of man's disobedience to God. Now, here's another thing I want to point out, is that most of our things that happen to us are self-inflicted. For example, I walk up and I cheat on my wife, and my wife finds out and she breaks my nose. Now, even though I'm a good person, because I cheated on my wife, she broke my nose. That is a self-inflicted trial, okay? That is something bad I did to myself, okay? Your next question was, why didn't any of Jesus' miracles leave behind any evidence? And to that I say, have you ever read this 3,000-page book? It's full of Jesus' miracles. Now, to those who say, well, that book's not relevant, what about the empty tomb? And so, I mean, there are a bunch of facts that actually back up that Jesus had several miracles, okay? Your next question was kind of interesting. Why has Jesus never appeared to me? Well, Jesus has appeared to me, and because if Jesus hadn't appeared to me and dwelt inside of me, I would not be a Christian. Okay? Why would Jesus want you to eat his body and drink his blood? Okay, this was a metaphor. Okay? He was not being literal. And the reason I know that is because the disciples did not jump up, tackle him, and start eating him. Okay? It was a metaphor, and it was designed to represent communion, which is practiced even in today's society, okay? Why do Christians get divorced the same as everybody else? Because they're still people. And without God at the center of your marriage, people are inherently selfish, Christian or not. Okay, people make mistakes, they lie, and they cheat. Okay, so your question is, why do they get divorced the same as everybody else? It's because they're still human. They're still subject to the same laws that everybody else is. Okay, now I have a question for you guys out there, and this is my question to you. Okay, let's assume for a minute that you're right and that God is imaginary, okay? Now, according to your guys' law, what happens to me when I die is I just cease to exist, okay? I don't know I'm dead. I just go back to the way I was before I was born, which, you know, I could actually kind of live with that, you know? But I want you guys to flip that around for a second, and what if the Christians are right and the atheists are wrong, and there is a God, and Jesus Christ did come down and die for your sins? What does that mean for you guys? Well, that means that you are going to spend your life or the rest of eternity in a place of torment, designed for demons, okay? Now, let me equate that to something physical, okay? Let's say I was to take gasoline, dump it all over you, and light you on fire. Except you didn't die, you didn't burn up, and you stayed that way forever. Now, I'm not saying this to scare anybody or to make anybody mad, but I'm just saying that I could stand up under the weight of you guys being right, meaning I just cease to exist, okay? But could you guys stand up under the weight if the Christians are right? Okay.